Hello everyone, welcome to this video tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to introduce another technical analysis indicator, the OBV. The OBV stands for on-balance volume. Um, as the technical analysis, we all know the volume is a very important information uh, for our analysis because the volume um, plays a significant role to moving price higher and down. So many people tries to trace the volume flows into the equity or the volumes flows out of the equity. So this indicator is the first attempt and very rudimentary indicator in trying to record this volume flows in and flows out of the underlying security, even though it is a very basic indicator, but it can provide some of the important information in terms of technical analysis. So let's jump into our application. Let's get started. Okay, so once you open the charts, as you can see, if you want to bring up the OBV, so basically let's open a new chart, CBA. I already opened the imports the Australia share market data by using memory safe mode. Okay, as you can see, that's a new chart because I'm open up the unified chart opening mode. So as you can see, that's my favorite settings for when I'm open up any chart. So when you want to bring up the unbalanced value OBV into your chart, you click on that indicators drop down list and you select unbalanced value. Once you click on that, as you can see, this OBV is added into your chart. So once it's open, and then this is the area that you can configure the OBV. So in your chart, so let's just go through because this is a very simple indicator, so you don't have much to configure. So basically, you can just change the line width as usual, change the line color, the OBV line color, and last configurable thing is you can make a dashed line or solid line to move in this slider. Okay, so the save button behave the same as other indicator, is save it to your chart opening mode. You want to close it, you click the close. You want to bring back in, you can click on it. You cannot open multiple OBV because it doesn't make any sense. You have it, so you can only, if you click again, so nothing will happen. Okay, so that's the drawing part of this indicator. I think that's simple enough. So obviously it also can be used as your trading indicator filter creation. So because as you can see, the OBV is ticked. Sorry. Okay, so you untick that, it will exclude it if you select it because I select all of them. So you can create a unbalanced value related indicator filter. Let's see what's the functions we could have. Is provided. As see, you have lots of functions you can use in terms of OBV. You can get a value, prove the value. You can get a 52-week high of OBV, and you can tell is that slopping. You can check the direction of the OBV. So let's just say, is that slopping since the last peak? Okay, so that means you want to see this. You want to see all the shares that with the OBV is slopping down since the last peak. Once you save it, as you can see, you can use this filter in your market scan. Okay, so that's the OBV. Let's just delete all those. I will explain all those. As you can see, I have pre-configured lots of filter indicator. The indicator filters. I'm going to explain it in the other video. So let's focus on the OBV in this tutorial. Let's close it. Let's close that one as well. Okay, so if you want to close a chart, you also, instead of click the little cross, you also can right click and click the close. Okay, now let's moving on to this OBV indicator. So I'll need to tell you guys how we calculate the OBV. So the unbalanced volume indicator measures buying and selling pressures. Basically, it's maintain a running total of the trading volume of this security. So if current day is a down bar, it's a down day, basically it's using the closing price. So if today's closing price is lower than previous closing price, and we will subtract the running total, okay, with today's volume. But if today's trading volume is if today's closing price is higher than previous closing price, and then what we do is we add up today's trading volume, entire day's trading volume into this cumulative total of this security. So as you can see, if we're doing this, the volumes and sometimes we add and we subtract and add the volume as the security moving forward, and then forms the OBV. So we actually plotting that line chart for every day or every trading units volume OBV, and we form this line chart here. Okay, so that's the calculation and the algorithm behind the unbalanced volume calculation. So the purpose of this is to try to figure out some of these volume actually movement, and then we're using this volume movement and trying to predict the price action, because some people saying the volumes moves before the price. Okay, so you will see some of this hint before a actual price takes action, either up and down. So that's the idea of the original author, and he's trying to measuring this negative or positive volume flow into and out from the security, trying to predict some price actions. All right, so most common usage of this particular indicator is to use the divergence, compare the divergence of the LBV with the price action to predict price action. So divergence is the first usage. Another part is we are using the actual trend of the OBV line to give us some of the trading signals, or maybe pre-warning. So let's just go through this. Okay, so let's go through from left to right. So I will explain something one by one. So first one is if you're saying the volume moves before the price, let's examine the practical example. I'm not showing the full picture of this chart, the FMG metals, because I want to explain things here. So basically, when you see the OBV, because we can draw the trend lines, etc., or anything, we can do the same analysis on the OBV line. So for example, when you see the OBV line forms a pattern like that, so you basically can draw a trend line as well as you drawing as usual on the normal chart. So when you can, as you can see, when the time moves by, you can see the OBV line forms in this pattern, but one day it breaks out. So that information means, and also you can see the price moving in a very limited trading range. Okay, so when the OBV line breaks out the pattern, so some people might think this is the buying opportunity. So if you buy from here, because it's very approaching to the lowest low, so your risk is low, because if you buy in this bar, actually you don't have much distance before with the lowest low. So you can set up stop loss on the lowest low right here. Actually, is a safe, I mean, relative safe timing to buy it when this OBV line breaks out the pattern. So if you buy it here, and as time goes by, as you can see, the price, does move up. The horizontal line is a resistance line that we can observe because we can observe lots of price rejection at this price level. So that's why we draw a horizontal resistance line. Okay, so we hope this security can break above the resistance line. So some people chose much later to buy it. You have to wait for the price actually break up from that resistance line. Okay, as you can see, you probably can buy here, but the OBV does give some early, signal when it breaks out from that OBV pattern. So that's probably true. In this particular case, the volume moves before the price. Okay, but sometimes it's not. As you can see, the prices moves up, right? Now, okay, let's take a look here. Well, the second quote here, I'll put it on the notes. Actually, you can type anything on the chat, so I just use that text to type here. So OBV value itself has less meaning than OBV trend. Okay, so that's pretty much also means you don't really care about the actual OBV value. What's the value of the OBV, because this doesn't mean too much. What the people most use it is to use the trend of the OBV chart. So just treat it as a security if you like. So you can actually draw anything, resistance, support, and trend line, etc. on the OBV line. So in this usage, probably will gives you more information than the actual OBV value. Okay, so that's that line. All right. I think the original author of the OBV indicator, he's trying to observe, to extract some information when the big institutions get into a underlying security and then they start stepping to buy. So usually that makes say, so they're buying probably in a long time, and then you can see from the OBV line, if the price moving down, but the OBV line moves up, it creates a divergence. By using that divergence, you can have some, what do we call it, hints. Some institution might buy in. That's why because normal people would not buying when the price is falling, but when you see the OBV lines moving up, when the price is slightly moving down, that means the big institutions might start to buy in. So you want to position yourself earlier than normal people. So that's what's the what's the purpose of this indicator, is trying to find out the volume moves actions before the price. But because I know this the purpose of this indicator, so I particularly find some of the securities that I already know the big institutions already got in. So I'll show you guys. The first one is the FMG. It does, the big institutions have a high percentage of holdings, so they probably started buying from this period of time. So let's see what OBV behaves in a real institution. Step in the chart, step in a security or share. As you can see, this period of time, actually from the chart, you can clearly see, as you can see here, you can see the shares trading in a falling widget pattern, right? So you can draw two trend lines, the up trend line, down trend line, and also in the meantime, you can see the OBV behaves the same. So the OBV also falls in a falling widget. So you can draw a trend line on the OBV chart in this case. Okay. At any time, for example, you don't know when this share will break up or down because you have no idea. So you observe the OBV line, so you're waiting for some indication on the OBV breaks below or up this trading pattern. Okay. Right. So in this time, as you times goes by, you can see Sunday. Yes, that's the real word. It's happening is the OBV actually breaks down from this trading pattern, right? So you're expecting the price going down. You certainly, if you buy long, you want to buy from here. So this is opposite from what you're predicting. Okay, so you keep waiting, and the price did not fall outside this trading pattern. That's interesting. And as you can see, when the times goes on, this OBV creating more lower low here. So that means lots of volume happening in the down days, down movement. So lots of people selling. But as you can see, the price doesn't fall out. Instead, the price actually slowly crossed the upper edge of this falling widget, right? As you can see this day, you have a big jump. If you trading based on the OBV, you missed out, right? Because at this time, you can see the OBV stays outside its trading range, but you can see the price already break out the upper trend line. So the trend line breaks up happens before the OBV breaks up, right? So in this case, instead of the previous example, in this case, the OBV doesn't give you a doesn't give you a better entry point than the normal trend line. So that's why we normally focus on the actual chart, and then this kind of all the indicators just give us some other confirmation. You don't rely based 100% on any indicators, and then the chart itself, that's more important. Okay, so this time, for example, it breaks out from the upper edge. If you start trading long, and then you can see while this big jump after that, actually you can see OBV actually picks up with the price action. So that's why I said sometimes it's incorrect, but sometimes it's not. In this case, it's not correct. The volume is lag behind the price action. Okay, so that's why we always focus on the chart itself, right? When this one breaks out, the OBV breaks out that trading pattern, as you can see here. That's the OBV breakout much later than the trend line breaks out, and then that confirms the uptrend is happening. So that confirms if you buy long here, that confirms your buying is following the correct trend direction. It's moving up. Okay, so cool. As time goes by, you can see this shares actually move up very fast. Actually, the uptrend is speed up. You can see the trend line drop on here, right? It's very steep. But what happened in the OBV line later? As you can see, the OBV line is actually it's not steep as the price action. Okay, so same here. You pay attention on this OBV lines trend. That's why because up to here, you draw a trend line in the chart. Also, you can draw a trend line on the OBV line as well. As you can see, this steep trend line, that the price actually, when the times goes to this days, you can see this trend lines break out. So some people probably will sell already, right? Because you break the trend line, right? That trend line is very, so far the price respect this trend line pretty well. You can see here, and then right here. So price actions act very respect this trend line up to this point in time. This trend line breaks out, people sell, But if you see the OBV, it doesn't break down this trend line. OBV trend line stays intact. So okay, so some people might still hold. As you can see, if you're waiting for a OBV trend line breaks down, as you can see, you probably can sell from here. That's the actual OBV line breakdown, right? So in that down bar, as you can see, that particular day, yes, you still can sell a little bit higher than the trend line breakdown, but it's not much difference, right? So it's just a little bit higher here. yes, if you trade based on the OBV line, trend line breakdown, so you can sell here. That's a little bit better. Um, Once you sell it, as you can see, the price breaks down the trend line on the chart, also breaks down the OBV trend line, and then you will have a very steep fall for this particular security. Okay, I think you guys got it what I mean. So that's the real situation when this at this in the more than 2 years time accumulation, that institutions start stepping. Actually, as you can see, they are very patient and very patient. Nobody will hold such security for 2 years, and those news are revealed of course much later. They will not tell you they're buying here. So that's the real example of the big institution step into a security. And I'll have another example. It's right here. Okay, so this is another. This is a very famous share that's running like crazy in Australia share in previous years. In the past few years, this is called A2 Milk. Okay, so this share, actually, it happens that the institution steps in. I can tell you because I'm in Australia, so my trading is focused on Australia. So I already knew the news and this story for this particular share. So basically, what happened for this share is in the past, in between 2016 and 2017, this almost 2 years consolidation. Okay, so as you can see, this period of time is actually the OBV happening. So this period of time is the big buyers started stepping. So as you can see, has the same characteristic in such kind of period of time. This share behaves very boring. It's trading in a very narrow range for quite some time. Okay, as you can see, the price slightly moving above, but if you want to focus on the OBV line, yeah, I don't need to. Okay, so let's keep that line here. So this period of time, this is the big institutions start accumulate on this particular share. So what happened is, let's just say we can do the same thing. We can draw actually a trend line to connecting these 3 points. Okay, so actually this is as you can see, the price falling inside a trading range as well. So that's the lowest low if you're connecting there. From this 1.5 year, okay, so actually it's 15 months. Okay, so price trading within this range, and price moving very slowly to the upper edge of this resistance line. So basically, if you bought it, if you see, if trying to break up the line a couple of times, it's always failed, and it bouncing back and try it again. OBV line in the same time forms a very narrow pattern as well. If you draw that OBV line, train on the OBV chart, you can see the same thing is happening. Let's bring it thicker. All right, so that's trend line doesn't draw, upper trend line doesn't draw perfectly, but it doesn't matter. We're just showing here. Okay, up till 1 day, and this time the OBV line breaks out of this trading pattern pretty much the same time as the price breaks above the resistance line. Okay, so either if you're trading based on the OBV break up, or I would suggest always respect the actual price break up. Okay, so confirm with the OBV break up this time. So 2 break up added up, so you can add in your winning probability. Okay, so you step in now because you also confirmed by another OBV break up signal. And if you bought it now, and this share is running like crazy, as you can see, that's really big jump. Okay, so that's the first part of the story. Let's move in the second part. Okay, once you hold this particular share for a year or more time, as you can see, the price jumping outside the Bollinger Band, so it's absolutely overbought. Some people may take some profit out here, as you can see. If you keep holding this particular share and you found at this time you wouldn't draw this, trend line. You need at least 2 points, right? But the perfect trend line, you need at least more than 3 point to link to be a valid trend line, but it doesn't matter. As you can see, if you hold it, it does have another jump here. So basically, it's another pick, which is a breach outside of the upper Bollinger Band. So that's another extreme uh, scenario that's called overbought. Okay, so also you have another dot here, so it's falling down. So actually, once here, you can draw this two trend line, right? So looks like this share is started trading within a very wide range, and the volatility of this particular security is increased dramatically from, compared to the early days, right? In the meantime, you can start to draw your OBV trend line as well. Okay, so the OBV trading inside a very narrow range, and then this also creating a divergence situation. What we call divergence is when the price is actually creating higher high, and actual indicator OBV is not creating the higher high, it's slightly lower, see? And once here, as you can see, this is very clear second time divergence. The price create another high, and the OBV, the OBV creates a lower high. That's the divergence. Okay, so when you see this happening, you would know the underlying security is this uptrend is in question. Why? Because you will see a long time range of divergence. Actually, you see it twice, and also this particular share trading a very wild, the wide range trading range, right? So it's not stick together. So these moving average stick together, and this is lots of up and downs happening here in the wide range. So this is actually a distribution of the institution. Probably they started selling the credit, because up to now the good news are public to everybody. Nothing's hiding. Every news is good, and this particular share start to do this wallet, trading range, but it's still creating higher high. But if you're looking at the OBV, actually, this divergence happening, and you have to be careful. Okay, so if you're trading on this range and waiting for the OBV breaks down this pattern, and you have to, you have to wait. Oh my God, you have to wait now. You have to wait. You have to wait to this day, but already you can see you pretty much lost all of your profit, and that's the not good way. So sometimes the OBV pattern breakdown, unless you can do another trade on right here. Okay, so you sell at this point in time, and that's, you can see you kind of selling it in a very good position, right? So it's not in terms of technical analysis, it's not a textbook, and there's no rules forever correct, right? So you have to be flexible and be careful those little changes here. But if you sell in when the price breaks down the trading pattern, so you sell from here. Okay, so if you bought here, you sell here, still you got quite a good profit, all right? Or you can sell here. This OBV line breaks out for this narrow pattern, okay? Or if you're waiting for another one, that's too late. So as you can see, that's the divergence, because as we can see here, price creating high high, OBV not. Actually, it's, you can trace back to here. This is a couple of years, 3 years divergence. That's really bad sign. Okay. Cool. So that's another real example for the OBV. Let's move up to another one. So I think this one, the last one, that's the buyers actually, sorry, the big institutions step in 2019, because I already know the news because I'm in Australia. So this particular share is called Perseus Mining. So it's a gold miner. Actually, the big buys come in this period of time. for a long time. That pretty much start from 2018 and 19. So what happened in this particular share? So I want to show you guys here. This is last example. Okay, as you can see from here, let's bring up the join tools here. Okay. Um, Not quite clear this period of time, but you know the news come up and just this maybe here. So let's just join this particular share of this uh, one year. So it's trading in a rectangle. So you can see the shares trading in a narrow rectangle trading range. Looks like it's W shape. A bottom forms a bottom pattern. But meanwhile, the OBV actually doesn't do much here. As you can see, the OBV is also falls in a very narrow. Ooh. So when you join this trend lines, you have to be, very uh, steady. Your mouse. Okay. As you can see, the OBV also forms in a very narrow range, a trading range here. So you can see that's probably happening in this particular time. Yes, the OBV, if you from this looking at this direction, you kind of feel this OBV slowly, very slowly moves up, but price actually still inside this a trading range. But one day, it's a good jump. The price breaks up from this a trading range. So the OBV line in this day doesn't. Okay, it's another example. The volume doesn't really moves before the price action every time, so you have to focus on this actual chart itself, right? Cool. So I think you guys already got what I mean. The reason by drawing those horizontal lines here is just, yeah, you can draw the horizontal line on the OBV indicator to see the resistance and also support line here on the OBV as well. Okay, so that's the divergence, and let's see another divergence. Something. Do I have any? Oh my God, this is another example. Right, the first example is here. I want to show you everything I have. So maybe this video tutorial is already around half an hour, but that doesn't matter. Let's finish the last example. As you can see in the chart, you actually can draw a trend line when this particular share. So that's actually ANZ, a big bank shares in Australia. This trend line, if you draw a trend line, you have to, be slowly and trying to collecting every dot. Okay, that's actually this trend line provides a very good selling point right here. As you can see, this uptrend is in problem. It breaks down in a big down bar here, and then as you can see, if you wait OBV, that's a little bit later because you have to sell in the second red bar here. So this is an example. The price actually the break. So the actual trend line, performs better to give you earlier sell signal than the OBV trend line breaks down. Okay, so once this shares breaks down, as you can see, you have been waiting. You stay away from this share, and then you observe this share probably falls in a pattern. So once you wait like a long time, you can see because you can draw the trend line right here, and then draw because the trend line here, and then you start predicting this particular big bank shares that's actually right now trading in the falling wedge pattern. Okay, so up to this day, you can see the price moves outside the trading range, the pattern. Normally people tend to short, but yeah, so but if you see the next 2 or 3 trading units, the price steps back. So that's the false breakdown. Be careful. So you can see this. Okay, so this trade, this shares breaks down this trading range, and then again it stays above the trading range. So it looks like this below the trend line, below this thing, doesn't really hold anymore because it's already been breaks down. as you can see, when this when the times goes on, the price start to moving towards the upper of this trading range, the falling widget, upper level. It fails again. Okay, it tries again. As you can see, meanwhile, the OBV line, as we can already discuss, you can draw the trend line on the OBV line. As you can see, the OBV line follows a uptrend as well, which means underlying trading volumes are all in the up days. Even though the price still stays inside this trading pattern, as you can see, the OBV line keep creating a higher high. Looks like it's gonna be a breakout, but you have to wait the OBV line breaks above that trend line, so you can draw a line. Because the OBV forms a trading pattern as well, you have to waiting for this OBV line breaks above this trading range. Okay, but the most important thing is we always looking into the chart itself. We will have to wait the price breaks above this range with a decent volume. So if it doesn't, you don't buy in earlier. Okay, as you can see now, very interesting, the price start falling, and here again the OBV line breaks down. So actually our prediction is incorrect, so don't step in as time moves on. Okay, so I need to bring up that trend line. Okay, sorry, that's bad example. Up till here, the price of still not breaks above this trading range, so we actually avoid such a steep falling by actually the OBV line provides a good selling point here, so we sell here, or up to here it still doesn't breaks up. So up here it still breaks up this trading pattern. The OBV line actually hit a resistance of this trend line. So to the end, we didn't involved in this trade. Actually, we saved ourselves some loss here. As you can see, the steep falling outside this range, and yeah, that's the up to today. Everybody knows that the COVID. The pandemic caused the steep falling of the entire global market. So that's what happened. Yes, yeah, as this example, the OBV saved us, and also the actual trading. We're always looking for the price breaks above the obvious trading pattern on the chart itself, saved us as well. Okay, cool. I think that's everything in these examples. This tutorial. Okay, this is another share AMP. It's going too far. Too many examples here. Okay, this is a head shoulder pattern, as you can see, and this particular share actually following a very obvious head and shoulders pattern. So okay, let's bring back here. As you can see, this likes the price breaks down that leg 9. Okay, and there is another previous support range here. As you can see here, we do have a triple bottom pattern here. Used to behave like a support. Looks like the price falling in this range, stopped falling further, and then jumping back to the support line, the second support line. As you can see, meanwhile, the OBV lines moves inside this trading range. Because we draw this rectangle here, it's just a prediction. Because we're using the high point of this before the price falling down. So actually, the underlying security does respecting that rectangle. Looks like they're still trading in there inside that trading range. Meanwhile, the OBV line already we can draw a pattern as well. Okay. But when the time goes by, we're expecting a breakout or breakdown. Nobody knows. Okay, up to here, you can see the OBV line breaks down. You have to be careful. As you can see, the price quickly moves towards the bottom of this rectangle and breaks out with very big fall, and then that's what happened next. So that means the OBV line can provide some of the pre-warning. Okay, cool. So I think that's pretty much the contents of this tutorial. So the takeaway is use the divergence of the OBV with the price actions in the longer in here. As you can see, it does give some of the pre-warning of this underlying securities in question. Another thing is we are try to use the trend line, and you can do all the analysis on the OBV line. The OBV line can also give us sometimes give some good good pre-warning for, okay, but not always, because I already showed you guys some of the example. And yeah, okay, so I think that's all the contents of this tutorial. I hope you guys can use this indicator wisely and correctly. So I hope you guys enjoy the contents, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.